In the realm of video games, hype can be quite a risky thing. Sure, it is a great marketing tool, if not the best one available. The problem with hype is that if there's too much, it can lead to significant backlash if a game doesn't deliver. You can probably think of at least one such game that, despite being highly anticipated, didn't deliver upon its release. In a world where it seems like loads of people prefer to rather focus on the negative, we've decided to bring you something that is good and positive. Welcome to HotFix Gaming. I'm Joy. Today, we'll look at 10 of the most hyped games that actually delivered on their promises. So, let's get started. 10. Doom Eternal. One of the most anticipated games of 2020, Doom Eternal was incredibly hyped, and rightfully so. When it launched, the game delivered on its promise of gory action as well as putting emphasis on storytelling. In fact, it was the storytelling aspect that many felt skeptical about, but it worked out in the end. With fantastic visuals, high resolution, more weapons to wield, even more abilities to use, and of course, Mick Gordon's headbanging soundtrack, Doom Eternal was everything fans were expecting and more. Doom Eternal is hell-bent on putting a smile on your face at all times. It makes its already insane predecessor look tame in comparison. It's longer and more challenging. It's filled with secrets to uncover. It's a masterpiece. 9. Elden Ring. From a developer who is used to creating action role-playing game titles with a defined scope and areas that were interconnected neatly and flawlessly, trying to translate that formula into an open world sounded like a recipe for disaster. However, it was clear that From Software took this shift pretty seriously and strove to create a game that would cater to both new and classic gameplay elements the Soulsborne series was known for. This led to the release of Elden Ring, which is considered by many to be one of the greatest open-world games ever made. Elden Ring was so hyped that it had managed to win Most Anticipated Game at the 2020 Game Awards, with absolutely no news that year. Even though it stayed in development for quite a long time, fans were still excited about the game, and when it finally released, it smashed all expectations. 8. Halo 3. The first Halo game was a launch title for the original Xbox, and it managed to change the landscape of multiplayer gaming forever. Later, the franchise managed to do it again, with Halo 2's online modes. But players would then have to wait almost 2 years after the launch of the Xbox 360 to get their hands on Halo 3, but when the title launched, they were more than ready. While Halo 3's marketing campaign was massive, even having its own dedicated article on Wikipedia, in hindsight, there really was no need for that. Fans spread the word on their own and hyped up this game to the maximum. After launch, the game became the biggest-selling title on Xbox 360, proving a fitting conclusion to the trilogy and once again redefining online multiplayer with its vastly improved matchmaking and, of course, the introduction of Forge Mode. Many still regard Halo 3 as the pinnacle of the series, and thanks to the Halo Master Chief Collection, the game is still playable on modern systems and PC. 7. Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 was a sequel with incredibly high expectations behind it. The first title in the franchise was one of the most successful games ever made, receiving sales in the tens of millions and acclaim from both fans and critics. Red Dead Redemption 2 had big shoes to fill, but it promised an even more fleshed out and realistic open world, a deeper story, more breathtaking graphics, and there were even talks about the nether parts of a horse shrinking in cold weather. But we're not going to discuss that now. Despite this tall order, Red Dead Redemption 2 delivered. Critics and fans showered it with praise upon its release for the sheer quality of its presentation. It was one of the most photorealistic and beautiful games ever made, down to details no gamer would ever think of. Its emotional story and expanded survival gameplay only added to this praise. 6. God of War Ragnarok. We can't talk about Ragnarok without giving praise to its predecessor. The 2018 God of War was an amazing and highly anticipated game that delivered, while also laying the stones for an epic sequel where Kratos struggles with the Norse pantheon. Ragnarok promised to be more cinematic, grander in scale, and every bit as hard-hitting as the first game in the rebooted series. And it delivered on these promises. In fact, the game had even exceeded expectations, and it was one of the few games to actually rival Elden Ring at the 2022 Game of the Year Awards. 5. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. This is the most recent example of a hyped game that delivered on the promises it made. Critics have rushed to praise both Spider-Man 2's narrative as well as the visuals and gameplay. In every single aspect, the title managed to exceed expectations and live up to its hype. The title received many positive reviews, with some even going as far as saying that it's the best Spider-Man video game yet. While being a little shorter than its predecessor, Spider-Man 2 still managed to leave a good impression with its memorable main story, the introduction of villains such as Venom and Kraven, Bessie UI, and some of the best side quests you can find in an open-world game. And plus, Spider-Man 2 is also being touted as one of the most cinematic superhero games ever created. 4. The Last of Us. Touted as one of the highest achievements in storytelling that gaming has to offer, The Last of Us is truly a masterpiece. The PS3 exclusive managed to become a hit among players and critics alike almost immediately after its release, all thanks to its incredibly powerful storytelling and unique take on zombies. In the game, these zombies are humans who were infected and disfigured by the cordyceps fungus. Even now, more than 10 years after its release, The Last of Us is widely recognized as one of the best video games of all time. It got a remastered version for the PS4 and PS5, a sequel, and a TV show adaptation that was very well received too. The sequel, The Last of Us Part 2, while still considered a good game, had a lot of fans not happy about what happened at the start of the gameplay. We're not going to spoil it for you if you haven't played it yet, but if you did play it, you know what we're talking about. 3. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. With the success of Breath of the Wild behind it, Tears of the Kingdom had big shoes to fill, and managed to do so flawlessly. The game doubled down on everything fans loved about Breath of the Wild. Hyrule was expanded with 2 more layers to its open world in the Sky Islands and Depths. The story was, to some, a further improvement over Breath of the Wild. New tools like the Ultra Hand completely rewrote how players enjoyed the game. It topped even its predecessor in acclaim and impact. 2. Elder Scrolls Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim has a lot of hype behind it for several reasons. It was another installment in the popular The Elder Scrolls franchise, which had had 2 acclaimed installments in The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind and The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. On top of that, Bethesda Softworks were hitting their stride with titles like Fallout 3. The rest was history. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim lived up to the expectations created by its pedigree and impressive marketing materials. The game became instantly acclaimed for its freedom, presentation, storytelling, and more. It's so beloved that gamers are still regularly playing it well over a decade after its release. 1. Grand Theft Auto: San Andreas. While we can't ignore the hype of GTA 5 and how it lived up to it, San Andreas really manages to surpass the latest Grand Theft Auto title. The game that completely evolved the Grand Theft Auto series, San Andreas, was the first game in the franchise to really emphasize the narrative of its characters. San Andreas had a massive amount of hype and massive shoes to fill, and it absolutely shattered expectations. Introducing new mechanics like shopping, swimming, new vehicles, character customization, and even gambling, it no longer felt like the game had any restrictions at all, which led to massive success for Rockstar. There's a reason the game remains beloved to this day. What other games do you believe lived up to the hype? Let us know your favorite titles in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this content, check out some of our other videos. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe to our channel, and click that bell icon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in our next video.